Hello and welcome to today's episode. Today I'm in conversation with Dr. Kafil Khan, who was in news after the 2017 Gorakhpur medical tragedy. He was slapped with the National Security Act early this year and was released in September only after the Allahabad High Court judgment. Here's what he has got to say. So, you were this normal doctor with a normal government job. Since 2017, what has changed?
Since before 2017, I was just a normal doctor, as you said. Used to go to hospital, come back, spend time with family, and I was known to only in Gorakhpur. The Adi Oxygen tragedy has changed a lot of things, not only to me, the whole family. Now the whole world knows me. One thing, this is a positive side, and lots of people have prayed for me, and they showered so much love and affection. Second thing, that activism has come inside me. Before me at BRD Oxygen tragedy, I was just a doctor. Now I also started speaking and started thinking and started reading about what's going on in India and which other things are hurting India's sovereignty. So I started reading, and during the BRD Oxygen tragedy and 9 months of his incarceration, I realized that even though I'm a doctor from a good family and a good background, still I can be penalized after doing some good work. What is happening to those people who don't have voice? The poor, the marginalized community. So then I realized that the real issue of roti, kapda, makan and health education and employment, nobody is talking about. And people are talking about the issues which, just divide people. The Shamshan, Kabristan, Ali, Bajrang Bali, Teen Talaq, Pakistan, and so many other issues. So I started doing, and one more thing I realized, that BRD Oxygen tragedy is just a brutal face of our broken health system. The total whole system, which is the primary health system, which is the backbone of our any health systems, it's shambles. And India is spending only less than 1% of GDP. So I started doing health camps, and I started a Health for All campaign.
So, early this year, you were charged with NSA, which is a very serious act. So, why do you think that happened and what happened after that?
National Security Act is an act for for those people who do anti-national activity and for the terrorist organization. So when NSA was slapped, I was also surprised, and I was really upset. Why this stringent act has slapped on me? But I think that the government, the Uttar Pradesh government, wanted to paint me in a communal color, um, uh, because I have got support from each community. I never talk about the decisive things, and I believe in the pluralism, the communal harmony, the equality. So I never talk. I did more than 300 speeches on NTCA, NTNRC, NPR. I did only one speech in Uttar Pradesh, and that's also in Aligarh Muslim University, and government got a chance. So I think the government wanted to, that witch hunt which is started in 2017. And when I came out of the jail, I started because the court has acquitted me, and then this internal inquiry has given me a clean chit, that I have not done any medical negligence. I have not involved in corruption. I tried to save the kids. So when I started, if Dr. Kafil is not a murderer, who are the real culprits who killed those 70 kids? Somebody is there. 70 kids have lost their life, and their parents are still waiting for justice. So I started speaking for them. I think one is that reason, because government want to save those real culprits of BRD Oxygen. Second thing is, when we started the Health for All campaign, I started touring all over India, and I started going to the periphery, in the villages, and I saw that the primary health center, is working like a white elephant. And I think that exposes the health structure of the whole country, especially North India. I think that unnerve the government, and they tried to paint me in a communal color, and they were unsucceeded in that.
So what happened after you were picked up?
Oh, that was horrible. That special task force which picked me up from Mumbai airport, they kept themselves next 72 hours. They physically tortured me. No food for next 72 hours, and even during the jail time, 4 5 days, they didn't give me food, no water, and physically they tortured me. They made me stripped. They made me naked. They beaten me with the rod and the stick. They slapped me. They abused me. They asked weird questions. Have we have a proof that you have invented some powder which can kill millions of people. We have a proof, that you have gone abroad to destabilize the government. I was like, I am a doctor. I'm a pediatrician. I don't have a lab to. I'm not a scientist to, invent some powder which can kill millions of people. And I don't. I have my passport is with the judiciary. I can't go leave, outside country without informing the court. So these are the weird questions, and it was not only the mental torture, the physical torture. I used to cry for food. I used to beg. I used to, my abdomen was cramping, and I was screaming and screaming and screaming. Sometimes I fainted, and then I again screamed for food. So it was horrible those initial days. Then my family moved to a court, and I got to shift to a normal barrack. But that barrack was also very congested. A barrack capacity of 60 to 50 to 60 prisoners. There were around 150 prisoners, and only one toilet. And during this COVID-19 pandemic, when everybody is talking about social distancing was a distant dream for us.
Was there pressure to stop talking about the things that you are talking about?
Yes, that's the thing that I still remember the jailer, Mr. Arvind Pandey, who used to come to my, when initially they kept me in a solitary confinement. Initially the jailer used to come after, he came after 3 days, and he said that if you stop talking about the BID Oxygen tragedy, stop talking about the CA NRC, stop talking about government policies, then only we'll provide you food. So there was a lot of indication that I should stop talking about these issues.
So did you ever feel like giving up and going back to a normal life?
No, never. I believe you have to be truthful to yourself. And my upbringing was always like, my mother used to tell me that you should not close your eyes when injustice done in front of you. And I believe कि न हिंदू बनेगा न मुसलमान बनेगा, इंसान की औलाद है, इंसान बनेगा. And during my education day also in Manipal, my teachers, they used to, we never discriminate, on the basis of religion, region, caste, and socio-economic status. As a doctor, as a profession, that's why I always said that even if it Dr. Kapil Mishra, that Yogi government would have done the same thing, because they wanted to save the real culprit. Yes, the thing is that it's not only me who suffered, the whole family has suffered. You must have heard my brother was shot near the chief minister residence in 2018, and I have got so many threats. My mother, 65-year-old, has to go to Delhi, go to Allahabad, go to Aligarh to the court. No, in this COVID-19 pandemic, the whole family has suffered a lot. So sometimes, I used to think that system is so rotten that you have to come to the system to fix it. But I was never, had a feeling that I would break down, because I believe in Allah, and I get uh, I think that God must have some plan. That's why He's taking so much, examination, or so much punishment I have gone through. And people's love, I told you that I got support from across the community, across the political spectrum, across the people, whether it's South India, North India, whether it's Gulf, US, UK, everywhere people have prayed for me. So I think that love and affection has pushed me, and the zeal and enthusiasm and strength and determination, devotion I get it from you people.
So this time you said that there was a fear for your life even in jail. So why do you think so?
See, they have gone through, they try to implicate me in several cases already, three cases, four cases already have lodged since BRD Oxygen tragedy. And then they slapped a national security act. They have failed in each attempt, you know. They wanted to, I have a feeling that if Uttar Pradesh government wishes that they will keep me behind the bar till 2022, till he is there. So what is the last resort? I still remember in 2018 when they picked me from Bahraich, you know, in a district hospital, there 78 kids died, and the government claimed that it's because of mysterious disease. So we made a fact-finding team and we went there to find out what mysterious disease, because in medical term there is no mysterious disease as such. So when we found out that this encephalitis, we were going for to address a press conference, and police picked me up and they kept me for next 24 hours in a car. You know, they were roaming and going in the, and they were talking that you should not speak about you know, uh, things. So I think that's the, and I have got the real threat. I got the phone calls, I've got messages on social media platforms that next after your brother, next is your turn. So even my family is worried.
Did the lack of media coverage this time also make it difficult?
See, media coverage, I will tell you, just give you just one example. In 7 months of incarceration, this time behind the bars, we were allowed to watch news for 1 hour, 1 hour in the jail. And in that 1 hour, 3 months, the media, a particular channel, they were playing only one channel they used to play. And that channel were used to play the 3 months, they played Muhammad Shah, Jamaat, spreading coronavirus. Then the next 3 months they played Sushant Singh Rajput. So I was wondering, where is COVID-19? Where is the migrant? Where is the unemployment? Where is this economic crisis? So no real news is coming, you know. So media is biased. The same media who made me hero after the BRD Oxygen tragedy, they made me villain. No. So, but still, I believe that true journalism is still alive. You know, there are some people in each system. You see the judiciary, the order which is came very beautifully. If you read the judgment of order of judgment of Supreme High Court Allahabad Chief Justice Govind Mathur sir, which is clearly written that my speech was not about hatred and violence. My speech was integrity and unity of India. And the district magistrate Aligarh was selective in their approach. He picked up the. I'm sorry, there was some problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the High Court judgment.
Yeah, High Court has clearly said that the not an iota of indication which can hint that I was talking about hatred and violence and enmity between two religions. Actually, the whole speech, the intent of the speech was about the integrity and unity of India. And the district magistrate has selectively chosen the words from my speech and cut it, pasted it. My speech was around 45 minutes. They made it like about 2 minutes speech, and they made it viral and made it like a hatred and violence. So it was all edited, and he said that no responsible person should do that. You know, so he said that whole process of NSA slapping was illegal, and he not only quashed the NSA, the all three extension they gave me, you know, after slapping NSA was for 3 months, and then they extended it for 3 months for 3 times. So all three extension he quashed. So it was there judiciary. There's few people. There are few people in journalism. There are few people in political spectrum. There are few people in administration. They are alive. The system is going on. You know, there are dirty fishes in each system. Even in medical system also, we can say that.
Now, you just talked about the judgment. So while you have been acquitted right now, and there are many people who are in jail for months and years, and then later it is proven that there was no substantial evidence against them. Do you think there should be a compensation or, somehow?
See, Dr. Kafil's story has touched so many lives. That's a question I always ask. Why this happening? So whenever I roam, I ask people why so much love and affection for Dr. Kafil. So I got the answer because it's not Dr. Kafil. Dr. Kafil is just a symptom of the largest disease. A symbol you can say of the largest disease. You can see the tip of the iceberg. So many people have died. So many people are still incarcerated. So many people have behind the bar for 10 years, 15 years, but nobody knows. If you remember the anti-CA, anti-NRC protests, still so many, around 200 students are behind the bar. So even for that, I have written letter to the UN also about how the security laws like NSA and UAPA has been slapped on peaceful protesters, and so many women and human rights defenders, social activists, poor people are behind the bar. So I'm raising those voices. Actually, the story, those people's story has not reached to the people. And I think it's a responsible for you guys, the digital media, who should take all these people are issues also. Um, uh, I will continue to raise this voice, and I'm going to sue the government. I'm going to file a writ petition in a high court again for suffering for the past 3 years, and I hope that I will get a some relief. Now you can hear. Yes, now.
Right. So I'll come to my last question. How do you think the Indian and the UP government has handled the COVID situation?
I still remember I made a video on 28th of January 2020 from Mumbai airport itself when I was leaving for Patna. I made a video on COVID-19 when there were so many deaths was happening in China, and there was no case in India. India's reported first case on 30th of January. And I in that video I warned what to do and what not to do, and how because India is so populous and I've seen the health structure. So I was very worried, and I told everything how what it should be the plan and what we should do or not. But unfortunately, I was arrested next day on 29th January. And from jail also on 19th March 2020, I wrote to the Prime Minister of India, respectable Narendra Modi ji, and I have written the 4 5 points, how to strengthen the health system, what to do, how to do testing, and I suggested at least 1 lakh test per million population that happening, the coronavirus periphery, and now we have already crossed around 60 lakh, 6 million, and that is just data given by the government. So many people have died without getting tested by for COVID-19. So many people have recovered without testing, because 80% people no need hospital admission. If you go by Delhi, Delhi has done a zero survey, and they have got every third person have antibodies already. So there more than 1 crore people in Delhi itself have got infected and get cured. If you go by Pune, there are 52% people have got antibodies. So we need to do zero survey on all India basis in October itself and September itself. Now, ICMR has done zero survey in May, and they have got 64% of 6.4 million people have already got COVID-19. So I think we have failed to control this, and we are still lagging behind doing testing and isolation. What WHO reckon, because we are very far from discovering any vaccine or medicine. Medicine, whatever we are giving, it's all under trial, and vaccine is still distant far. I mean, if we discovered the vaccine, it will take years to reach to the common people, to the poor people. First the developed countries and the rich countries will take, and then the Indian government will, some rich people will take, and it will lost. And then it's not about the COVID-19. You will be surprised that 90,000 people have died because of COVID-19 since January, but 28,000 people are dying every day because of non-COVID disease. You're getting my point? Because so much focus is there on COVID-19, people are not getting treated for other diseases like carcinomas, cardiac arrest, pneumonia, diarrhea, chikungunya, malaria, and, so many pregnant ladies have died while delivering babies because 68% of deliveries are now happening on at home. So that's a very tragic situation, and our health system is already stressed and overburdened. Now when the winter season will come, this November, December and January, what we have got the data, the children will become super spreader, and then this populous state like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Assam, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, they will have going to be have a very difficult time.
Thank you so much for your time. I will send this to you once this
Thanks,
is
Shira.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you, Shira.